After losing our baby, I needed silence. But my husband's sister threw a party in our home yelling, "She's just milking Sympathy." I broke down in front of everyone. My husband looked away. The next morning, the house was empty, except for a letter she found that ended with, "My name is Adrian. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I used to have a normal life. I had a steady job as a first-grade teacher. I was married to someone I thought was my partner. We were expecting our first baby. A little girl. Her name was going to be Clara. I was 35 weeks when it happened. One morning I just knew something was wrong. I hadn't felt her kick all night. I drank cold water. I laid on my side. Nothing. Mark, my husband, drove us to the hospital. The car ride was quiet. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I knew. When the nurse put the Doppler on my belly and didn't hear anything, I started crying. She left to get the doctor. They did the ultrasound. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Then the doctor looked at me and said, "I'm so sorry. There's no heartbeat." Everything after that felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I gave birth to our daughter 2 days later. She was beautiful. She had a full head of dark hair, my nose, Mark's chin. But she never opened her eyes. We held her. We took pictures. I dressed her in the tiny outfit I packed in the hospital bag. That was supposed to be her going-home outfit. Instead, we buried her. After the funeral, I just wanted silence. I couldn't deal with people. Couldn't stand noise. Every sound felt like a punch to the chest. At first, Mark seemed to get it. He held my hand at night. He made me tea. He would sit with me, quiet, while I cried. But that only lasted about a week. Then he started getting impatient. "You have to eat," he'd say. "I'm trying," I'd answer. But I couldn't. Then came the, "You need to go outside." Or, "You should talk to someone." Or, "I'm worried about you." I wasn't ready. And then Haley showed up. Haley is Mark's younger sister. She lives in Phoenix. She's loud, blunt, and selfish. She flew in to check on us, but really just stormed into our lives like she was the main character. The first thing she said to me was, "Hey girl, wow, you look rough." Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "How are you holding up?" Nothing kind. Just that. That night, she poured wine, turned on the TV, and laughed loudly while watching some reality show. I stayed upstairs with the door shut, crying into Clara's blanket. Mark came up and said I was being rude. I told him I just needed space. "She flew in to be with us," he said. "No, she flew in to drink wine and watch TV. She's trying in her own way." Right. A few days later, I overheard them in the kitchen. I was coming down for tea, but stopped on the stairs when I heard my name. Haley said, "She needs to get over it. She's just milking the Sympathy now." Mark didn't even defend me. He just said, "She lost a baby, Haley." And Haley replied, "Yeah, well, it wasn't a toddler. It was a miscarriage. She's acting like the world ended." I dropped my mug on the tile. It shattered. They both turned to look at me. "What did you say?" I asked. Haley didn't even flinch. "You heard me. And honestly? Everyone's walking on eggshells around you. It's exhausting." Mark didn't say a word. He just looked away. I went upstairs. I didn't come down for dinner. I didn't talk to them. The next night it got worse. I heard music blasting. People laughing. I came downstairs and found a party in my living room. Haley had invited 6 of her old friends over. Wine. Vodka. Someone was vaping. I was frozen in the doorway. "What is this?" I asked. "A get-together," Haley said. "Don't worry, we'll keep it light. In my house? You need to loosen up. You've turned this place into a tomb." That's when she looked at her friends and said, "She's still pretending like she's the first woman to ever lose a baby. She's milking it. I mean, come on." I lost it. I screamed. I sobbed. I dropped to my knees. She was real. Her name was Clara. She wasn't a miscarriage. I gave birth to her. I held her. Don't you dare say that about her. The whole room went quiet. You could have heard a pin drop. I looked at Mark. He didn't say a damn word. He didn't tell Haley to shut up. He didn't defend me. He didn't even touch me. He just looked, embarrassed. Then he looked away. I stood up. Went upstairs. Grabbed my purse and car keys. Drove to a cheap motel. I sat on that bed all night. I stared at the ceiling and wondered how everything could hurt this much. I went back the next morning. The house was empty. No Haley. No mark. Just a letter on the kitchen table. It said, "I'm sorry. I don't know how to help you. I need space. Haley said I could stay at her place for a while. I'll be back for my things. Please take care of yourself. That's all. No, I love you." No mention of Clara. No apology. Just, "Take care of yourself." I sat there for a long time. I didn't cry. I felt hollow. Then I got up, went into the nursery, and started boxing everything. The crib. The clothes. The books. All of it. Then I boxed the wedding album. The photos. His stuff. I labeled it. Mark's sh*T. I made a list. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to show them who they underestimated. I didn't lose my voice when I lost my daughter. I just hadn't found the right moment to use it yet. After I boxed everything up, I called my sister, Tasha. She lives in Denver, about an hour away. She knew about Clara. She came to the funeral. Unlike Mark's family, she cried with me. She held my hand through it all. When I told her what happened, she didn't hesitate. "Pack what matters and come stay with me," she said. "You're not going to sit in that house alone." So I did. I left Mark's boxes stacked neatly in the garage. I didn't leave a note. Just let the silence speak for itself. At Tasha's, I finally got some sleep. I cried, but it felt different. I wasn't being watched. I wasn't being judged. I wasn't tiptoeing around anyone else's comfort. 3 days later, I got an email from Mark. No subject. Just a short paragraph. "I'll be picking up my stuff Saturday. I think we need time apart. I'm not ready to talk about anything right now. Haley says I shouldn't be dragged into your spiral." I stared at it for a long time. Not once did he say Clara's name. Not once did he ask where I was. Just cold, distant words like I was some ex-girlfriend he'd ghosted. Tasha saw the email. "You gonna let him walk away like that?" she asked. "No," I said. "I'm just waiting." See, Haley had messed up. She didn't know me. She didn't know the kind of quiet I was capable of. And Mark? He forgot who I was. What I'd given up. What I carried. The next few weeks, I played it calm. I got a lawyer. Not just for the divorce, I started collecting everything. Every email. Every text. I printed them out. Screenshots. Dates. Proof. Because there was more. Turns out Haley wasn't just crashing at our place. She was squatting in our finances too. I started digging through our joint account. Noticed strange charges. A boutique hotel in Scottsdale. A spa in Sedona. A $700 charge at a clothing store that I never shopped at. Then came the Venmo transfers. Mark had been sending Haley money. A lot of it. Thousands over the last 2 months. Sometimes labeled help or Hal car note. But we both knew Haley didn't even own a car. It hit me, Mark had been covering for her. Funding her. With our shared money. Money we saved for Clara. Money from the baby fund. I lost it. Again. But this time, I didn't cry. I got focused. I called the bank. Had my name taken off the joint account. I froze the remaining savings. Then I called the lawyer again and asked about fraud. Mark had no clue. Until he walked into the house one Saturday morning and found me sitting at the kitchen table with my attorney. The locks had been changed. I still had partial claim on the house, and the lawyer advised me to reassert residency. Mark stood in the doorway stunned. "Adrian, what are you doing here?" "This is still my house," I said. He looked around and then saw the boxes were gone. "You moved everything?" he asked. "No. I packed your stuff. It's in the garage." He stepped inside slowly. His face was pale. "Can we talk? Now you want to talk?" I asked. Haley wasn't with him. I figured she was probably still sleeping off her hangover somewhere. "Listen," he started. "I know I should have been there for you. I just didn't know how. Stop," I said. "This isn't about you not knowing how. This is about you letting your sister disrespect our daughter. This is about you choosing her comfort over my pain. This is about you stealing from our baby's fund to pay for Haley's spa days." He blinked. "What? That's not..." I slid a stack of papers toward him. Bank statements. Venmo records. Spa receipts. His face went blank as he flipped through them. "You took from Clara," I said. "You let your sister turn our grief into a punchline. She needed help." He mumbled. "She's my sister." "I needed help," I said. "And you left." He sat down, head in his hands. I looked at him one last time and said, "This is the last time we speak like this. My lawyer will handle the rest." Then I left. But I wasn't done yet. Because Haley? She wasn't going to walk away clean either. A week after that confrontation, Mark's lawyer reached out. He wanted to negotiate calmly. Said Mark was willing to be fair. That told me everything I needed to know. He was scared. I wasn't bluffing. I'd filed for divorce. I had everything documented: financial misuse, abandonment, emotional neglect. My lawyer said, "We've got leverage." I didn't want revenge for fun. I wanted justice for Clara. For me. But like I said, I wasn't done with Haley. I knew where she worked, some small event marketing firm in Phoenix. I did a little digging. Turns out Haley had been bragging to her coworkers that she was helping her grieving sister-in-law and taking care of the house while Adrian fell apart. She'd even used our tragedy to take time off work. Said she was needed for family medical support. I knew this because a woman named Christy, who followed me on Facebook but hadn't talked to me in years, messaged me after seeing a photo Haley posted. The photo was of Haley and her friends at that party in my house. Same night she called me pathetic. Same night I broke in front of everyone. Christy wrote, "Hey. I wasn't sure whether to say anything, but I work with Haley. She said you were too out of it to function, so she stepped in to manage the home. But she's been telling everyone different stories. Just wanted to check in." That was the crack I needed. I emailed her company. Not from a burner. Not anonymous. I sent everything. Party photos. Quotes she made in front of witnesses. The fake reasons she gave for work leave. I was calm, direct, and backed it all up with dates and documentation. A week later she was fired. No warning. No severance. She posted some long rant on Instagram about fake people and family betrayal, and how loyalty doesn't mean anything anymore. I didn't comment. But a few people who knew me did. One wrote, "You threw a party in a dead baby's house. Sit down." I didn't even know who that person was. But I'll never forget it. Mark tried calling me. I let it ring. Then he texted, "Why are you going after Haley? This is going too far." Too far? Too far was letting his sister call my daughter a miscarriage to my face. Too far was him looking away while I sobbed on the floor. Too far was abandoning me with a half-assed letter. He didn't get to decide what was too far. I didn't reply. Instead, I met with my lawyer again. I told him I wanted to pursue full ownership of the house. Mark had already left voluntarily, and we had proof he was staying with Haley and helping her financially, using shared funds. We had a strong case. Mark must have gotten wind of it because the next thing I knew, he sent a handwritten letter. 6 pages. Talking about how broken he was. How confused he felt. How maybe Clara's death triggered something dark in him. I read the whole thing. Cried. Not because I believed him, but because I finally saw him clearly. He didn't just fail me. He failed her. And that was something I couldn't forgive. Then came the real twist. 2 months after the party, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I checked it, it was from a woman named Lexi. She sounded nervous. "Hi, Adrian. I'm sorry to do this, but I think you deserve to know. I've been seeing Mark. I didn't know he was married. He told me his wife left him after a miscarriage. I just found your name through the paperwork at his place. I'm sorry. I didn't know." I listened to the message 3 times. Mark had moved on. Probably even before the party. He'd been talking to someone else while I was still bleeding in a hospital bed. I called her back. We talked for an hour. She wasn't lying. She was just another one of his lies. She'd met him during a hard time. For him, he said. Told her his wife had a breakdown. He painted himself as some kind of broken man who didn't know how to cope. He even told her he'd lost everything. No. I lost everything. Clara was everything. Mark just lost the image he wanted to protect. I thanked her. Told her she wasn't to blame. She cried too. Said, "He made me feel sorry for him. He told me his wife went crazy." That was the final nail. Mark had rewritten our story to make himself the victim. And just like always, Haley cheered him on. So I rewrote the ending. But not for him. For me. After that call with Lexi, something inside me hardened. I didn't just want to move on. I wanted to burn every part of the story that let people like Mark and Haley walk away clean. I called my lawyer and told him everything. The cheating. The lies. The money trail. The proof from Lexi. And here's where it got real. Colorado law recognizes dissipation of assets. That means if one spouse uses shared money for non-marital purposes, like cheating or giving thousands to a freeloading sibling, it can be used against them in divorce. We built our case brick by brick. Mark didn't know I had Lexi willing to testify. He didn't know I'd gotten a signed statement from Christy at Haley's job. He didn't know I had access to old text messages he forgot to delete from the shared cloud account, including one where he told Haley, "Adrienne's just too weak to handle life. Maybe it's better this way." So when mediation started, Mark walked in smug. He left sweating. My lawyer hit him with everything. "Would you like to explain these transfers? Did you call your grieving wife weak and manipulative? Did you fund your sister's vacation from the baby fund? Were you in a romantic relationship with another woman while still married?" He fumbled. Said things like, "I didn't mean it like that, and I was confused," and she twisted everything. No one believed him. Not even the mediator. In the final settlement, I got the house. All of it. I got 80% of the savings. I was even granted damages due to emotional distress and misuse of marital funds. He left with some clothes and his car. The lawyer said it was one of the fastest turnarounds he'd ever seen. He smiled and said, "You handled this like someone who's done grieving." I said, "I'm not done grieving. But I'm done being quiet." Mark tried texting me one last time. "You didn't have to destroy me." I didn't respond. But karma wasn't done with Haley yet. 3 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I got an anonymous message with a screenshot. Haley had been evicted. Turns out, after getting fired, she couldn't keep up with rent. She'd borrowed money from friends, lying that it was to help her nephew with hospital bills. But after she blew it on designer crap and weed, they cut her off. She posted a story crying in her car saying, "People are cruel. I helped my family through grief and they stabbed me in the back." One comment read, "You threw a party in a dead baby's nursery. What did you expect?" The internet didn't forget. She tried to delete her accounts. Came back weeks later with a private profile. No followers. No friends. Lexi, the woman Mark had cheated with, didn't take him back. After learning the full story, she blocked him. But she also shared a story on Facebook. "Ladies, if a man tells you his ex went crazy after losing their child, run." It got over 1,000 shares. Mark's name was never mentioned, but everyone in our circle knew. He moved out of state 6 months later. Some say to Wyoming. Others say he's couchsurfing with old college buddies. I don't care. I sold the house 2 months after the divorce. Used the money to start over in Boulder. Found a new job at a small private school. The principal knew my story. Said, "You don't have to explain your gaps. You're strong enough to teach these kids anything." I hung Clara's ultrasound picture in a locket around my neck. I don't talk about her every day, but I carry her with me. Every second. Therapy helped. So did Tasha. So did time. But mostly, revenge helped. Not the loud kind. Not screaming, breaking plates, or slashing tires. The kind where you rise. Where you strip them of every excuse, every lie, every false comfort they used to walk all over you. The kind where you look in the mirror and say, "They tried to bury me. But I grew anyway." Mark thought I'd break. Haley thought I'd stay quiet. They both forgot something. Mothers who lose their children don't come back the same. We come back sharper. And we remember everything. It's been a year since everything. A year since Clara. Since the funeral. Since Haley's voice rang through my house like a gunshot. Since Mark turned his face away while I cried on the floor. Sometimes people say, "Time heals." That's not true. Time doesn't heal anything. Time just gives you space. You decide what to do with it. I didn't. Move on. I moved forward. I got my own place. Smaller, but mine. There's a garden in the back. I planted lilies there. Clara's flower. I spend mornings watering them. Some days I cry while I do. Some days I smile. Both are okay now. Teaching helps. The kids don't know my story, but they know I listen. They run to me like I'm safety. And maybe in some way I am. Tasha still checks on me every Friday. She brings wine sometimes. Other times we just sit in silence. I told her once, "Silence used to crush me," she said. "Now it wraps around you like armor." She was right. As for Mark, I heard through someone he tried dating again. A girl in Cheyenne. Didn't last. Word got around about him. No one wants to date a man who ghosted his grieving wife and blamed her for losing their baby. Haley? She moved back in with their mom. She tried starting an online business, some crystal healing nonsense. It flopped. Her social media's been dead for months. Nobody misses her. Not even her old friends. Sometimes I wonder if they think about me. If they sit in their quiet rooms and finally hear the silence I beg them for. Sometimes I wonder if they ever say Clara's name. I don't need them to. I say it every morning when I wake up. I whisper it when I see the lilies bloom. I trace her name into the fogged bathroom mirror. Not because I'm stuck. Because I remember. Because she mattered. Because I'm her mother. And no one, not Haley, not Mark, not anyone, can ever erase that. Not with words. Not with silence. Not with time. Adrian, still standing. Still writing. Still remembering. Clara, always loved. Always mine. This is where it ends. For them. But not for me. Never for me.